Okay, so here what we're going to do on the lathe one more time is flip this part over so that I can machine down this so that it's an even surface. This will give me the ability to put it in the mill without any issue. I really can't see a way around that, so it was just a lot easier to flip this in the lathe, and I'll show you how I did that. So if you recall, this bore here is 1 3/4 inches, and I think it's like 1 3/8 inches deep. So let's go over to the lathe and I'll show you what I have. Alright, so what I wound up doing is chucking up a piece of 2 1/8 scrap aluminum round stock, machined it down to the 1 3/4 by 1 1/4 inches. Then wound up sliding the helm spacer over that. I left a couple thou, so it's not it's not a snug fit, it's just a comfortable fit. So there's no wiggle on it. It spins pretty concentric there. And then I went up again drilling and tapping the end of the aluminum to put a 1/2 13 bolt in there with some washers. I'm just going to be coming off this surface here. Once I do that, I'm actually going to run down this surface as well and stop probably close to where that is, maybe a little bit less, just to get an even flat surface. We are going to be taking this down 10 degrees, so I can't go all the way obviously because I'm still trying to capitalize on holding on to this surface to hold this part into the fixture. So we'll spin it up and show you how well it's centered. So there you can see it's pretty well balanced. You see the remaining stock obviously is not going to be that concentric, but the part is. So then we're going to run run the lathe and clean that surfaces up there. All right, so we got this set up in the lathe. Again, I'm just going to clean it up and then do a little bit of face. I'm going to do it by hand. Just makes the most sense. Just going to kind of walk it in and get pretty close to what we need there. We should be able to land it. If I take a little bit off, it's still not going to be that big of a deal. So we'll move it in. I'm going to take some light cuts so we're not over spinning it. Let's do a time lapse and get these two knocked out. All right, so we're over here on the VF3. I've gone ahead and prepped the soft jaws to accept the helm spacer. Cut for the radius there, so we got that. Give it a tug, and we'll go ahead and torque it down actually. So we're only doing 2 of them, but we're going to torque them down anyway. I usually only do about 20, maybe 15 to 20 foot-pounds of torque is plenty for that. This way it's consistent. It's not going to try to push it up or try to distort in any way. Purely, mostly cosmetic on the features that we're doing. So, but still, we'll stick to a procedure of torquing them down. I'm going to be using the helical T plus 5 flute 3/8 to do all of the work here for the pockets, and then of course we're going to use a ball end mill to be doing the chamfers around each pocket. So. All right, so here's the first look after opening the doors. It looks really good. Really happy with the surface finish. Again, this is 304 stainless. The last operation we were doing was just doing the fillets in here. And then the pocket kind of looks pretty cool. It's just actually a contour with a step over to finish off the walls and the floor. It came out really, really, really nice. Really nice piece. So now we're going to do the other one, and then the last step for both parts is flipping them over, machining the backside, and coming up with a way to get it to sit at 10 degrees. So let's try to figure that out. All right, so here we are. We're over on the lathe, and I have to make a couple of these for a customer, and they're roller dies for bending tube. And they're actually for anodized high polished stainless tube. So we have some black 3-inch Delran here that we're going to be making them out of. It's still going to have the standard, it's pretty tough stuff. We're still going to have the standard 1/2-inch pin bore. We're actually making several sizes. He just kind of brought these over so we know the overall OD diameter and the height. And we just wound up whipping them up in CAD, Fusion 360. Now, I didn't have one of these tools, and I didn't really want to buy one. Funny, I actually had the button inserts, the 1/2-inch button insert. I actually wound up making this, and it didn't really take that long. I actually had some round, 1.5-inch round 1045 steel. I don't think I'm going to be sending these off for nitride coating. But I literally just, I threw it in a mill in a vise and then just kind of milled it down kind of manually, and then ran the program to do the part of the stem stick out there. And that little bit there is just for me kind of polishing it by hand with the little cookie polisher. Nothing too crazy, but it is pretty straight and pretty stout. I didn't wind up drilling the hole all the way through. It was fine the way it is. But I actually had one of these because I have a couple of these button heads with screws, and I also bought the ones where it has the locking arm lever because I'm making a billet aluminum fly cutter for decking my LS block. So funny I had them, but it's pretty standard 1.5-inch stick out, a little bit larger than what you would get. And I just want to get this project done. This kind of was something I need to do for today. And I could spend $165 to get one of these, or just, I think I have a total of 30 minutes into making this with everything else. So obviously I wasn't achieving any great surface finish. But again, it's pretty simple. So that was pretty cool. We're going to put it inside of the lathe, and we're going to get to cutting. I probably would have used like a CNMG or a VNMG if I had a neutral holder. I actually surprisingly looked, and I did not have a neutral holder. And these kind of get a little bit better in there. You know, so it's kind of like, in reality, this is the best tool for this job. It's the quickest, and I don't have to worry. You can actually use something like this. This thing's kind of a little bit beat up, so I only use it on mostly plastic stuff. But a paring tool, grooving tool, I have a much better one in the machine, clamp style. But I have this, and I've had this for quite some time, and I have these. But I'm not going to go ahead and use this. This is so much better to utilize this tool. So we're going to utilize that. We're going to get it set up, and we're going to get these cutting. Now we have to do 4 sizes. I believe we have just enough material to do that. It's all going to go inside of the lathe in one shot, and we'll just pull out what we need and machine that. So there's going to be 2 of each sizes. These are schedule pipe sizes for the OD. So we'll be doing 2 of each, or whatever else we can get. So yeah, pretty cool. It was pretty quick, pretty simple to do. And it's funny too, because I even have the tap. The tap is 4 mil, 4.5 mil by, I forgot, maybe 0.7, 0.8 pitch. Don't quote me on that, but I believe. And I had the tap. I had everything ready to go to make my fly cutter. I just never got a chance to. Personal hobbies here take a significant back seat to work. So, but kind of cool I have this now, and I'm sure I'm going to utilize the crap out of it. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get over to the lathe. We'll start getting everything set up. All right, so we got the lathe finishing up the last one. This one here. But they're coming out really nice. Really good surface finish on those. Perfect. And again, they're different schedule size. Schedule pipe for anodized pipe. Just gotta throw them back in and just face them off. That's all I gotta do. My cutoff tool, paring tool, does not go all the way down. And I kind of don't want it to, because if it gets thrown off, it might nick some of the corners. And I want to keep them fresh for the customers. So, but they came out good. All right, more shop update stuff. Here's our suspension seat brackets. So here, a more complete one, less powder coating or anodizing, whatever the customer like to do. But here's an AFCO shock, and it sits here. So this part that you see here, and these rails, we're calling them the rails because they have the nylon in them. Those rails, they bolt to the seat, and then you'll have holes here. Those holes on both sides with spacers bolt to whatever mounting bracket, bulkhead, whatever the case may be. But that's something we created, and you know, thought it was worth enough, so we went down the route of, you know, filing for a patent. So we started doing that. And the only reason is there's private and public government sectors that we actually are bringing this to. So, but they're done. These are actually going to a customer here locally to us. But as you can see, there's a nylon impregnated channel that's built into it. With this, there's our shock mounts. The shock mounts are adjustable. We have multiple holes to adjust the travel and the tension on the shock less. If you don't have an adjustment here, you have an adjustment here. So this is, you know, a big dog, you know, high dollar shock. So yeah, they're really, really cool. And again, customer decides what powder coat, paint, whatever, anodizing, whatever they want to do. Hardware as well. Some of these race teams have specific hardware brands, obviously fastener grade, but they're really cool. Lightweight, 17 pounds, I think, without the shock, and they're really strong. They actually bolt to the side of the seat through here. So on this one here, has already been fitted, it bolts down a whole channel that's on the seat. So, and however, I mean, some people, you could put a big plate going to a bulkhead to another seat bracket. So there's a lot of universal aspects of this, and it's just, again, lightweight and, you know, very low profile. So that's kind of the added benefit to it. It could really be put anywhere, in a boat, you know, in an off-road vehicle, on-road vehicle. It could be an air shock. It could be whatever you like. It's pretty neat. We also hear, since this part is technically bolted to the seat, because it's bolted to the rails that bolt to the seat, these are your shoulder harnesses. So now your shoulder harnesses are moving with your seat. Hey everyone, really hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's one of my favorite formats to do, kind of put together a mix of different projects that we're working on here in the shop and kind of bring you guys in and do some filming and some of my insight and thoughts about how to approach some of these jobs. So pretty simple stuff, nothing too complicated, but just interesting stuff. And I know I see you guys like that kind of format, so that's kind of something I'm going to keep pushing for. I really appreciate the comments, the likes, the shares, all that good stuff. And if you're new to the channel, also please consider subscribing. It helps with the algorithm, it helps me grow the channel, and it also really motivates me to put out more content for everybody. So if you have done that, thank you again. I really appreciate it. If you haven't, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel and like, share, comment on the videos. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I answer most of the questions that are reasonable. So next coming up, I think with kind of things I want to sell or promotional items to help grow the channel, I'm going to offer some things. Again, shirts as well. I'm still toying with a couple different ideas of what I'm going to make and produce. But also, so back here in this corner is our anodizing department. So I do anodize here for products and specific customers here. We do other stuff too, like passivate, chromate conversion coatings. But the majority of the stuff's done back there in that section of the shop there. So, but some of the things I want to make and offer to sell to my subscribers and viewers is going to be, you know, something, you know, I have a couple ideas yet. I'm not going to release that yet, but a couple things I want to do. And we're going to be coating them and anodizing them to kind of give a little bit more of an option. Not every color out there, but probably, you know, a handful of colors. So I might bring you guys in and kind of give you a little walkthrough on that process. I know a lot of people like that stuff. Some of the things when it comes to anodizing, now everybody's got their own recipe, but it's just going to be kind of a brief walkthrough, I think, for anodizing. But that's something I am excited to bring to the channel subscribers and viewers, is our own product, something I created here and something I get to distribute out. And it's different, you know, instead of a shirt or a sticker or something silly. Also, you see my truck sitting there. I moved it up. That's the my SUV race car, my project that just unfortunately has to get moved around. There it sits for the time being because that's the space it fits in. But there are some videos on the channel where I have that in there. I'm going to do a couple more videos too coming up as well. Try to carve out some time for those projects too. I noticed a lot of people liked some of the machining work getting done on the engine block, so I'm going to do that. And there's a lot of fab work done on that truck too. It's a full roll cage, funny car roll cage. The frame is actually off of that. That's rolling around. The frame is somewhere else. So a lot of stuff has gotten under the frame, but I'll put some more stuff up. Maybe I might put a video about that. Not as popular, kind of boring, but as I get closer to finishing that truck, hopefully generate more attention to that. And that's something that's going to be doing a drag and drive events and to raise awareness for some local veteran organizations that are close to home for me. And so we're going to be kind of repping them and kind of doing some of these drag and drives just for fun. And I'm looking forward to that. Real excited with the people and the organizations and everything else. So it's near and dear to me as a veteran who's been deployed overseas to Iraq. So it's something that I'm passionate about. So it's a little side project for me. And again, most of the majority is going to be about machining and everything else. So, but look forward to more content coming up next week. I'm going to have a solid video for the C10 dashes. And sorry, the air compressor's going off. But yeah, so I'll have a solid video for the C10 dashes. and the rollout for those as well. We're still doing a little bit of work on them, but look forward to that video next week, and also some more mix and match videos of what's going on in the shop. And again, my name is Patrick, and this is the Everyday Machinist. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.